Mark Perry is with us now. He is a military and foreign affairs analyst. He is also the author of the book, Talking to Terrorists, Why America Must Engage with Its Enemies. And Mark is joining us live from Washington, D.C. Mark, is always good to talk to you. What's your reaction to the reporting from Human Rights Watch, from sources within NATO and U.S. intelligence, that the regime in Syria may, underline that, may be using scud missiles in the north of the country against rebel fighters?
I think from my own knowledge that the reports are credible, that it marks a profound escalation, but in a sense it's also a very desperate measure, because the salient point of using scud missiles is that they're unmanned, which may be an indication that the Assad regime can no longer use its helicopters or its jets, which means that the regime is backed up against the wall. That it is run out of pilots or jets and helicopters, and that we're close to an end. We could all hope that's the case. It's not certain that it's the case, but this is a pretty desperate measure. It's an escalation. It shows that this conflict is deepening, but perhaps reaching the end.
So, Mark, as you know, the National Opposition Coalition is now recognized by 130 countries. Isn't it pretty clear that while moving too slowly for Syrians inside the country, the international community is getting closer to arming the military wing of this coalition?
That seems like the natural next step, although at this point the opposition is in the outskirts of Damascus, and as your report today showed, is capable of extending its opposition to the regime into the heart of Damascus itself. It's shown that it's capable of using what weapons it has against the regime. The Assad regime, on the other hand, has one armored division and 2 infantry divisions, maybe, that it can deploy. There have been mass defections from the regime. It has very few political allies left in the world. Even Russia is teetering. I think that we don't know when this will end. Could be tomorrow, next week. But you asked me this a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
When will this end?
Yeah.
When will this end? And my answer then is the same as now. If the Syrian people are willing to pay the price and go to the streets and suffer the pain and the blood that it takes to overthrow this regime, then the end of this is inevitable and eventual. And that means the end of this regime, and I think we're going to see that.
Let's talk about the difficult choice of arming the opposition. Jabhat al-Nusra, now listed as a terrorist organization by the United States. In your view, is it an affiliate of al-Qaeda? And beyond that, is it in other extremist groups gaining disproportionate power among the rebel groups seeking to overthrow President Assad?
Well, I've been talking to some people in the Syrian resistance, and they're quite upset with the designation of a terrorist group. There are people in the resistance who are willing to pass out arms to whoever opposes Assad, and you can certainly understand their willingness to do so. What we call extremists, they call dedicated fighters. And in revolutions and in resistance, the most dedicated are also often the most extreme. We're not in a situation where we can naturally make choices and say, let's give a gun to this guy but not this guy. We're going to have to arm the resistance or not arm the resistance, and guns are flowing in there whether we like it or not. And if we want Assad overthrown, and we do, we're going to have to make the difficult choice of just saying, let's do it. And I think we're on the verge of that.